Having good line work is the basis for a good finished drawing, so I've decided that I'm going to improve my line work and this is how I'm going to do it. I have laid out 3 stages. Stage 1, basic line work practice. Stage 2, geometric patterns. And stage 3, mandalas. I'm using a light box and any pen or pencil. You could do this digitally too, but I would recommend doing it traditional. Stage 1. Line work. This sheet may seem like the most boring, but it covers all the basics. This is my first attempt and it will serve as my baseline to compare to. I actually found this sheet to be quite meditative, just focusing on one line at a time. I prefer to pull my lines down towards me, while I find moving horizontally just feels a bit more clunky. I suggest swapping the directions between each line. Start from the top to the bottom to the top, left to right, then right to left. This will help you identify which movements feel more comfortable and which movements you may need to spend some extra time with. I'm surprised at how comfortable I've started to feel when drawing these long lines, while the shorter lines and the squares and triangles have been lagging behind. I really thought it would be the opposite, with the short lines improving faster than the long ones. The circles are improving faster than I was expecting too, but they're still nowhere near perfect. Not yet, anyway. Now that I've done this sheet for quite a while, it's time to move on to Stage 2, geometric patterns. I'm still using the first sheet as a warm-up before moving on to the geometric patterns each day. My aim is to do at least 1 column a day. So while I'm still practicing, I have time to work on other drawings. My true first attempt at these patterns was eaten by a cat. Which one? I am not sure. But this here is my second attempt. The purpose of this is to build consistency between all of the lines. With these patterns, not only is having smooth lines important, but the spacing between them matters too. If one line is out of place, it is very easy to pick out. They also give me different angles to move to, and it forces me to focus on those short lines. There are 2 versions of this pattern that I've used. The first one is all 6 patterns on one sheet. Everything is tiny and a lot more precise. The other version is having the pattern spread across 2 sheets so they can be a lot larger. I have started to notice some of those areas that I need to work on more. When doing straight lines, I tend to be more wobbly at the start of the line before settling into the stroke. When doing circles or very curved lines, my hand tends to want to cut corners and flattens out the line. Other times I feel myself start to rush, so I need to remind myself to slow down and relax. Stage 3, mandalas. I created these mandalas to really test my consistency. There are many different types of lines, ranging from straight to curved, long to short. And since they are repeating patterns, every section should be as close to identical as possible. I decided to trace the mandalas first in pencil before I moved on to ink. This helped me become more familiar with the lines and movements before committing. It also creates more mileage, as I have to draw everything twice to create the image, and I could identify weaker areas before I made the marks permanent. As I include varying line weights, I had to use a few different techniques. Some of the lines taper at the end, so I use a thinner pen to outline either side of the line and then fill it in, outlining the outlines. Those were the hardest lines to keep consistent overall. For the other lines, I used different size pens to achieve the weight closest to the printout. It is much easier to have smooth, consistent lines if the pen is the right size. After all of this, my lines still aren't perfect, but there is improvement. It's also helped me relax, as I tend to stress out about ruining my drawing when I reach the lining stage. If you would like to try any of these drawing practices, I've included a free download on my website, the link in the description.